Jai Sri Ram. I've created a character who I call Zaini Zambitula. Zambitula. And the name of my novel and cartoon would be The Mirthful Misadventures of Zaini Zambitula. And he's a clown, a jester, reformer, simpleton, pragmatist, slick talker, sophist, Samaritan, and an inveterate absurdist who is a living satire of our sick society. So I've decided to create this character because in today's society we have a serious problem on one hand, and which is, people are like walking time bombs. They cannot tolerate the slightest criticism, but they badmouth everybody day in and day out. And especially we Hindus are at the receiving end, because the whole system is ganged up against the Hindus. De-Hinduizing the Hindu, de-Hinduizing the whole nation seems to be the full-time activity of the entire system. In which case, we need to respond very carefully, because the repercussions can be devastating. So, I thought we must create a character, and this character would be a reformer who will try to live up to that fundamental duty. You remember the fundamental duty number 8, to develop a scientific temper, spirit of inquiry, humanism, and reform. And these things are impossible unless we Hindus begin to do what is called Purva Paksha, reverse the gaze, examine these desert cults and completely expose them for what they are. Sanatan Dharma essentially has no evil, no discrimination, no prejudice, nothing criminal at all in the scriptures. And by scriptures I mean the Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita, the Brahma Sutras and the Upanishads. There are innumerable Puranas which have been heavily interpolated, and all kinds of stuff is there. Sometimes the stuff is so irrational, voluptuous, lecherous, scandalous, and cannot be defended, totally untenable. That's why Swami Dayananda did not spare even these people in his Satyartha Prakash. So, of course, we Hindus who are very devout would like to view that as simply an attempt of bhakti, and all these are merely metaphors for bhakti, devotion. That is okay for the Hindu who is devout, but it gives an opportunity for the desert cultists and the communists to pounce on this material to attack us. Whereas the truth of the matter is, okay, we can actually tell them, okay, listen, we are not saying that ours is the best religion, we have to proselytize you or kill you as per our scripture. No, no Hindu scripture says that. So when this is the situation, the first response should be, hello mister, you have no right to criticize us. But they won't stop at that, so they will continue. In which case, you have two options: walk away from this meaningless, pointless hassle, unnecessary conflict, shushka vairam. But sometimes you cannot just walk away, so you will have to confront them. And then we may not have to indulge in whataboutery, but then recriminatory exchanges are likely to be there. We will have to tell them, okay, you said what you said. The answer, my answer to all these questions against Krishna or Rama is that these are all interpolations. They are not there in the original works, and even if they are there in the original works, because Gita Press is also printing them. So unfortunately they have not done due diligence, they have not examined, they have not verified the authenticity, and over the years, these things have crept into our so-called scriptures. We don't call them scriptures, by the way. So they have got it. So we have to do some redaction, editing has to be done. And how do you decide what is interpolated? Because if you look at the spirit of the Bhagavad Gita, you can draw all kinds of inferences, but nothing which is irrational, lecherous, or treacherous, or indicating the need to convert and participate in a genocide of the non-believers. There is nothing like that in the Bhagavad Gita. So there are other ways also of ejecting all the interpolations that are there, because they are non sequiturs. They don't just follow. If you look at the personality of Rama, there is a lot of intertextuality. To understand Rama, you need to study Valmiki Ramayana, Yoga Vashishtam, and what else? Adhyatma Ramayana, and many other Ramayanas are there. and many Upanishads are there which discuss about Rama. Muktikopanishad, and what else is there? Muktikopanishad is Rama and Hanuman's conversation. Rama Gita. Rama Gita is Rama and Lakshmana's conversation. So Rama Gita, Muktikopanishad, there are so many texts you have to study. Similarly with Krishna. So all these, atrocity literature generators, they are writing a lot of crap, and unfortunately many Hindus at that time were not perhaps aware of how all their poetic flights of fancy can be misinterpreted later and used to beat, can be used to beat Hindus. It is like a stick we have given them with which they can beat us with all the interpolations we have allowed into our so called scriptures. These are not scriptures. Samupam Brayet. So Puranas are basically like a magnifying glass of the Vedas. So Puranas have been written to make the Vedic philosophy easier for the common man. And in this process, all kinds of things have been added. Navarasas have been added. Because the common man may not have the taste for high philosophy. So high philosophy also sometimes gets very dreary. Like Rabindranath said, let the not into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. Let the mind not stray into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. So we cannot take our Puranas literally; they are heavily interpolated. So now I thought I will create the zany Zombitullah, and all the jokes I know will be nicely edited, polished, so that they cannot give any offense to anybody. But this will be something like a dog whistle politics. I don't know. I think I will preserve my right to satirize everything that deserves to be satirized. Well, I hope you liked my small talk today. The eighth, fundamental duty: develop a scientific temperament, spirit of inquiry. The word inquiry, INQUIRY, means detailed investigation. Spirit of inquiry. Humanism rejects all dogmas from all religious books if that goes against the welfare of humanity. So humanism is a wonderful philosophy. In fact, the philosophy of the entire Bhagavad Gita, one of its underpinning is humanism, right? So the most humanist religious scripture is the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, I dare say any person of any religion will be a better devotee of the God that he wants to worship by studying the Bhagavad Gita. Jai Shri Ram.